what I've been thinking about. We are so much in deep shit, and these politicians don't seem to be giving a single shit what we think. Mgome Msigome, we are still going to do what we want. Given the Adani deal, they want, we might be just here ranting, and they'll just go ahead and do it.
Kimani, just hold on. Shikilia tu hapo. Kasmuel, I see you here. What do you want to say?
Yes, brother.
Have you told this fellow my mentee?
Yes, yes.
Wonderful.
Those people who do not know, Amerix is one of the people who really helped me out with drama and music when I was in high school. No, I'm not bragging. However, mi nataka tu hasira ibaki juu. Leo sina, I don't have the facts to give you. I just need to bring a few things to our notice. This past 2 or so days, you've seen the vetting of the CSs happen. You've seen that people have claimed that they've worked for 30 years and they accumulated, for example, 400 million. But in the past less than 2 years, somebody's net worth has increased by over 200 million. I don't know which business that is because remember the shilling was not doing too well. Tax has gone up, cost of living has gone up, but kuna wase bado wamemake na sijaona hiyo business because politicians don't produce anything. All politicians produce is violence and chaos. They don't have industry. Unasikia mtu anakuwa vetted. The question wanaulizwa, where have you said? Mtu kama Dwale anasema from selling his biography. Najua watu wenye wako hapa, very few people have read it. And yes, because it's the biggest selling book in Nuria, does not make it seem as though he's selling 1 million copies a week. Again, uliona nani akikuwa interviewed Oparanya. Nani Juliet alikuwa ana nod as though to guide the person to answer no to the question. I'm hearing people declare their wealth. Nobody's even asking for tax returns. These questions are being asked as though it's just a formality. In a meeting ya watu wa form 4 wanajaribu kusema nani atakuwa CU chairman. And ilikuwa isha determiniwa first term. These people are just hanging out as a boys club. I need to remind you, undiweke hasira juu. Sina sijui nini. Polisi umesikia our comrade, the cop saying, waliongezewa 4,000. Have you seen the amount of force these people use to us on the streets? Is it worth 4,000 shillings? If you're a cop and you're listening to this, I need you to ask yourself, is 4,000 shillings worth brutalizing your brothers and sisters for on the streets? Remember, again, there's this propaganda of this silly disease that's being touted called Mpox. By my analysis, it just feels as though they want to make it look like COVID. You've seen the photos of the boil looking all ugly, but it feels as though they want to impose a lockdown so that what was andamane, so that there's no public gatherings, because they've just dissipated it as propaganda. And this is what we said, this aura for aura business should not cease, because the government needs to be reminded that they do not own monopoly of propaganda. They might have monopoly of violence, but they do not have monopoly of propaganda. Remember, hii kitu ya Mpox, to me, it doesn't even sound like a real disease. Ina sound kama kitu imekuwa fabricated. It sounds like a sponsored ad. Because at your patient 0 got it while traveling from Uganda to Rwanda through Kenya. It does not make any sense. For me, it just seems like it's a lockdown thing. Kumbuka, weka hasira yako juu. How many bodies have shown up at city so far? The last time I saw the report, it was 240 something. So it means 1 body for every constituency. Uko hapa, you've sat down as a Kenyan, bado unajiuliza why should I go for maandamano? It is for these people who are dying like dogs. Those people, I attended this Tom Boyer show and they mentioned the names. And I remember being so moved and standing because there are people who laid their lives so that we can get this far. Remember, your local politician produces nothing, but sisi tuko hapa Twitter, tunatukanana, tunasema, sijui nani has done this. While the revolution is going on, we need to have one common enemy. Our common enemy is a conman, he's a looter, he's a killer and a murderer and hires on corruption and cronyism. It is very true, and I'm very sad to admit that there are people who have made money off of the revolution. There are people who've received funding from organizations in the name of mobilizing people, and they have not used that money for the collective. These people, we will not let them lose. That's one thing I need to assure them. And ever since I knew, nilikuwa nafikiria kila mtu anakuja hiki tu kwa na roho safi, but watu tu wako mchezo wa town. Ever since I knew, we said these people will have to be brought to the book. However, as long as they are still furthering this agenda, we have to figure that nane thing, because I'm not hearing enough of us talking about this nane thing. Remember, when this embittered currently Nairobi-based outgoing president is touring around, these trips still cost millions. It's just that we're not seeing the books. Nobody's auditing it. I think, and I would wager, they cost just as much as his international trips would cost. He's now gone on a very, very rampant campaign trail, and we are letting this thing slide while having this infighting. Nane is coming up. You've seen the way people wanateseka. Umesikia vile artists wanadharauliwa huku nje. Umesikia vile watu wanadhulumiwa huku nje. Women are still getting raped in those informal settlements or slums. Men are still being shot like dogs. People in the slums are still going hungry. But watu wamekaa hapa chini in a chamber, in a parliament of baboons, where people sit down, interview each other as a round table chama. It's capture harvest. They go and just pick from public coffers as though they are taking an unsecured loan from a sacco. Na wewe umekaa hapo, hasira yako inapungua, unakaa chini, you have the guts to think you can question the movement. You think that we will get another moment where we will give this system shock therapy like this. It's never going to happen if we don't follow through with it. It's never. You've seen the effects it has all across Africa. So ukijaribu kuacha hiyo hasira yako ishuke, nitakukumbusha net worth ya our CSs. Unakaa hivi chini, ukumbuke you're a peasant, you're a pauper. That's why you're in this space. If you had anything, you would not be on this space. Even the people who we think have money who are on this space, they have nothing. They're trying to gather more information on how best they can screw you. Na wewe bado unakaa chini, you think you have moral high ground to call out what this movement is. Let's not accept to be sucked into the useless, these baseless infightings. Because as Ayn Rand said in 1957, when you see that in order to produce, you need to obtain permission from men who produce nothing. When you see that money is flowing to those who deal, not in goods but in favors. When you see that men get richer by graft and by pull than by work, and you're